I gotten a little internet back and forth with a gentleman regarding this video I posted about this teacher who was speaking to the troubles that she was having in her class. And this guy's point basically was that it's the teacher's fault. And really, it really bothers me. It's because this guy was also, he's saying that he's a teacher and he's so tough. No kid, he will never allow a kid to be disrespectful and all that good jazz. And he's so hard. And if you're a good teacher, if you're actually a good teacher, children will never get out of line. Children will never be absurd and ridiculous. It doesn't matter what the parent, whether the parent is the best parent or the worst parent. If you're a good teacher, your children will always be respectful. And I know that's just patently false. And the thing is, the reason why that bothers me so much is because to me, it's obvious. It is extremely obvious and blatantly obvious that it doesn't matter how fragile and soft the teacher is. That can't be the criteria. The criteria can't be a teacher has to be this disciplinarian to that level. Does a teacher have to be a disciplinarian? Sure. To the extent that you're a drill sergeant, I don't know about that. I think that is an unfair standard to place upon a teacher. The burden shouldn't that burden should not be on teachers. That burden has always, and it should be, and it has always been on the parents. I grew up around some really, really bad kids, man. I grew up around, and I've never saw kids be disrespectful to teachers the way that I see kids be disrespectful to teachers now. I'm just 38 years old. I didn't grow up in ye olden times. I grew up around kids that were hard as hell, kids that will fight each other on the drop of a dime, kids that live hard lives, but I never saw them get out of line to the same extent that I see kids get out of line with teachers today. And it is because of the lack of accountability from their parents. To me, this is what should be the stance. This is the standard. It doesn't matter how soft the teacher is. It doesn't matter how fragile and nice they are. You still respect them. If they're doing something inappropriate, if a teacher is doing something disrespectful, something that you can communicate to your parent, and then that parent then communicates it to the teacher, and there's a discussion there, or the principal, and you go through the necessary chains of command and all that good stuff. Okay, fine. I'm not saying that a fragile, soft teacher is incapable of wrong. I'm saying that I don't care how soft and nice they are. You respect them. Just think about that as the whole point of developing a child is trying to prepare them for the quote unquote real world, right? So I've seen this in the world of, I worked in the world of retail for many years, and I would see in my stance was always in my mind, I would say, I don't care how nice you are as a manager. I don't care how hard you are as a manager. I'm going to respect you either way. You could be the softest, nerdiest, most fragile supervisor. I'm still going to show you respect, and I'm still going to listen to you. You don't want to teach a kid that only listen to someone in an authoritative position, someone in a position where they have the ability to affect your job quality, your livelihood. Only listen to them. Only listen to them if they're a hard ass. Only listen to them if they're militant. By the way, the supervisor managers that would try to be hard asses and try to like out the gate and think that that's what they had to do with everybody, they were always incompetent. They were always overcompensating. The manager's office a good manager waits until there's something to actually make a fuss about. A good manager waits until there's actually something to challenge and something to be confrontational about. The bad managers are like this gentleman that I was having a back and forth with, where it's like, I'm just, you're going to listen. People, for all you know, somebody will listen to you anyway. But then going back to children, it's just such an absurd thing, such an absurd standard to place upon a teacher. Because in my mind, I know a ton of soft, fragile people that have such wonderful knowledge to impart. But one of the they might say, "Hey, can you sit down for me?" or "Hey, I need you to listen," and they can't go beyond that in regards to their disciplinary approach. And so the answer, the solution, the response to that should not therefore be, "Oh man, you got to be way tougher than that." No, where are the parents? What kind of standards are being what kind of standards are being implanted into a child's mind to where you're making them believe that you could only listen to somebody when they're being just completely drill sergeant on your butt? But even then, that may not work. Even then, that could still cause all kinds of issues. And it's just, I think it's just such an unfair, it's just so, I guess since I know so much about teachers too, because there's teachers that are close to me and people that used to be teachers, and I've heard these horror stories. I've heard these horror stories where the parents are basically co-signing on the child's nonsense. And if there's no emphasis, because remember I was talking about emphasis the other day in my other videos where I was saying that it's all about emphasis. If the emphasis isn't on the parents, sure, the teachers should have disciplinary strategies, disciplinary approach, gotcha. If the emphasis though isn't on, but what's going on with the parents, what are the parents doing? What are the parents instilling? Then I don't know what we're doing. Because again, I go back to how I grew up. I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, man. I grew up around some kids from some hard ass areas, and there's some kids that were hard as hell themselves. I'd never seen them disrespect teachers the way that I see kids disrespect teachers today. And these kids were real mother effers. And they still showed respect as teachers. You know why too? Because there was such a close-knit community in New Orleans and everybody knew so-and-so and like, you know, what's your last name? Oh, I know your mother, I know your father. There was more of a sense of community. And there was also a sense that my grandma ain't gonna be on my side when my teacher calls her. When my teacher like gets in contact with my mama, with my grandma, with my dad, they ain't gonna, my parents ain't gonna be like, oh, you know, that's swell. You know, like my parents ain't gonna be like, you know, it's fine. Like, my kid. There's definitely some horror stories where parents did co-sign on their kids' nonsense, 100%. But by and large, the standard was be respectful or else. And it came from all angles. It wasn't just simply from the teacher side. It wasn't just simply from the parental side. It came from all sides. My parents instilled in me to be respectful and all that stuff, and I was still absolutely, I still try to get away with stuff with teachers and whatnot, but I didn't need a teacher to grab me by the shirt and breathe in my face and like try to make me do the X, Y, and Z. It didn't have to go that far. But what this dude was basically talking about is like, you gotta like take it there. Take it till you gotta get it. What about the parents, man? What about it just disgusts me that is like where we're going. It disgusts me that is like the sense of the spirit of the parochial. Is this really what we're doing? And no one's talking about this. No one's really trying to like talk about how these parents suck. And we're still congratulating people on having kids. We still are just like letting the kids. One of the things that this girl was talking about in this video, she complained about these kids listening to music about the nastiest stuff, and the parents are on board with it. Little girls listening to the nastiest, most foolish crap, and their parents are on board with it. Y'all are really okay with this? Are people really this stupid? We are really this stupid. Are our standards really this low? They are really that low. It's honestly sickening, man, because the whole point of school is to prepare children for real life. Real life is not going to be so welcoming, but then again, we see what's going on in San Francisco. Maybe real life is going to be that welcoming. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that is where we're going, where it's just like, oh, whatever, y'all do whatever you want. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to la and be happy over here. But y'all go ahead and do your thing. You know, you could be as disrespectful as bad. Just don't do it to me. Everybody, like, what kind of, it's just nonsense. Like, to me, it's unbelievable that people ain't talking about this more. But everyone's so okay with being in their own little bubbles. Our bubbles are never gonna pop. Our bubbles are never gonna pop. Our bubbles are never going to reach each other's bubbles. We're all gonna just whatever. Y'all so okay with whatever, huh? It's fine. Yeah, sure, kids can just use their phones like crazy in school and just be on YouTube and all this other crap and just do whatever they want and be as disrespectful as they want to teachers. The teachers got to take care of it. The teachers are the one who got to do this. What do the parents need to do? Oh, well, who cares? Because it's up to the teacher. Y'all going to miss out on some really good teachers, man. Not every good. I know there's a ton of good teachers that don't have that drill sergeant in them, and that's all right. That ain't nothing wrong with that because you shouldn't have to have a drill sergeant in you. There should be checks and balances where if that kid is going nuts, get your ass out of here. Get somebody to come in and get them. Have their parents like get on their ass. Like there needs to be. It takes a village, right? Does it take a village or does it take a teacher? Get your priorities straight, man, and get your like. God dang, y'all are crazy. I just can't believe how stupid everybody is. I digress.